All right. Risk of Rain 2 Alloyed Collective tier list. These are the new items that have been added to the game. And if you can see, I kind of was researching a couple of various items as well. I do have this whole other tab. I'm going to go ahead and add this there so that we can reference some of these other items, like the kind of craftables at the end that are very, very unique. I really do like the new mechanic of crafting things. I added a predatory mask and a harvester scythe together and got the laser scope. I was like, what? And he went to fight that boss. So that new crafting, I guess, framework and system is super cool. Big fan of it. The new update, one of my favorites. I think a lot of the skins are really cool. Some of them are weak as hell. Like Acrid's new skin, sad. I don't even know what that is. I love Acrid. But Huntress's new skin. Mwah, mwah, mwah. So, okay, look. We have a whole bunch of new items in this update. And I think I was looking at some tier lists today, and I was pretty upset to see the consensus of some of the items. Not because they're freaking amazing or that they're great, but because, like, if you kind of have a critical point of view on various items, or they didn't, like, help you in a certain way, like, I think people just come at them with, like, a discriminatory basis, and it's just like, we don't want that. I think that makes trash tier lists. I think that makes just separation of the room. That's not what we need. We need, like, non-confirmation bias towards each item. So, okay. I think I'm going to get into this now, but I just wanted to say that I have a very different play style than most people, I think. So we'll see how mine lines up with others. I'm not like 100% on every item in the game. Disclaimer. I'm not going to just immediately recognize an item for all its glory. Things take time. So let's just know that from the beginning. And let's get started here. So the first item is a box of dynamite. This one's really cool. When I first got it, I think I was reading, it was like, makes your drones periodically drop dynamite. And then I realized you have this lieutenant drone boy that spawns in. Basically is the drone that's dropping the dynamite. So it's kind of just a drone with dynamite. Not really that great, honestly, in my opinion. Cool item, cool to have. Might as well have another drone, I guess. But as a green tier item, I guess you wouldn't make it a white tier because it's just now a new ally, a new drone type of thing. But we're gonna have to put this one D tier. It can be good so periodically, but I don't think anyone will ever notice the difference of having it versus not. Same with this. This is faulty composer, something like that. I'm gonna faulty conduct. No. Let's see here. This is the collector's compulsion. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think this item's that great. I think any item that's a usable or something that is procced by picking something up is just not good enough when you're just in the shits. Let's be honest, Risk of Rain 2, we all like to play it on Monsoon. Something that's only going to work sometimes for a very little bit of time, and it has nothing to do with your character and what they're doing. I am not a fan of that. I don't think that helps much, especially if you got no money and there's nothing to pick up, like a boss or something. It's kind of even hard to understand at first what this item's really doing, but it's just a 3% increase to all stats for 20 seconds whenever the user picks up an item, which is that's pretty good buffs, but you're going to buy a chest and 3% increase it's just not that good. Sure, you might pick up 3 chests and you have 9% increase. It's just, if you want to min-max out the ass, then sure, but this is not anything more than a D tier. The next item is the Eclipse Light. I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I think this item is pretty good, and I have a couple of reasons why. Look. Anybody that plays this game likes more shield and likes more health. Okay, you're just crazy to think or to say that it is not a good item. It's not a great item. It's not a bad item, but it is a good item. What I'm going to say about this is essentially how this item works is when you use an ability, there's a cooldown. 7 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Once the cooldown comes back online, so let's say you use your ultimate ability and then 7 seconds later you get your ultimate ability again and 7% cooldown, or I'm sorry, shield. I think this is great for a number of reasons. One, for an example, Huntress, you use your R, you fly into the air, you shoot your 3 shots, depending on what your ability is. You land, you throw a boomerang, and then you teleport away. All right, in like 5, 10, 15 seconds, you're going to have the 11 second, the 7 second, and like the other 7 second. It's going to stack up 7, 14, 25% of your health in shield. If you get hella boomerangs and you're throwing boomerangs all the time, you're always going to have 7% shield plus, your ultimate ability plus your maneuverability. I think this item is great because, for example, the Topaz Brooch only gives you shield and a decent amount when you kill something. What happens if you're not killing things? Well, you're still using your abilities, especially in a boss fight. I don't know if you've fought the newest. There's the Alloy Hunter, and then the boss. I can't remember, the Solus Prime or something. Whatever it is, it's like the crazy big center ball. This item saved my life as Huntress because I was able to continuously have like a 30% or so barrier fighting this boss because, well, I'm not killing anything. The Topaz Brooch becomes useless in boss fights. But this item, if you were to fight the False Sun, having 15, 20, 25% shield is actually really nice. The item doesn't stack too well. I think it's only 0.25% per each item. So you need like 5 of these to actually get 2% shield per each, which would be nice. Instead of 30, you'd have almost 60% shield. If you're Drifter, for example, your R takes 30 seconds. And so if you use an ability and another ability, or let's say you use your R and then an ability, and you have 10, 15, back to 10, 5, 40, because, a couple things procced, and it's like, I just think it's kind of a very consistent barrier as long as you're using your moveset. So pairing this with a Topaz Brooch, I'm going to put this in C tier. It almost could be a B tier if it was 2% for the stacks, definitely. Especially just as you get like maybe more right clicks, maybe you get Heartlight Afterburner. The more times you can use your abilities, the better. If your abilities are too short, it's not that great. If they're like 5 to 10, maybe even 15 seconds, that's pretty good. And then if you're Drifter and it's like 30 seconds, it's like, boom, 30% shield, and you have like 10 already. I think it's not that bad. This next item is the Encrypted Cerebellum.
Lo que no sabía era que esa mujer en realidad era la jefa de una organización.
Excuse me, sir. I don't think this one actually does anything, right? This is just something that you use to... Yeah. So we're just going to go ahead and put this at the bottom of D tier because quite literally does not do anything. I also believe that the Exposed Cerebellum is quite literally the same. For those of you who don't know what these items are, you can combine the Encrypted Cerebellum with something like your Sentry Key or any key actually in the game, and get the Exposed Cerebellum, which will basically allow you to go into the next boss fight. Okay, moving on. This next item is absolutely one of my most favorite items that they added. The Faraday Spur is phenomenal. This item is so good in my opinion. It completely negates the need for other speed items. It seems like the new update definitely has this consensus on electricity being a very big part of the new update. For the Faraday Spur basically grants movement speed at 25% stacking. So the second you start to sprint, it starts stacking as you move. Once you get 25%, then you are able to. It has an active, so when you jump, it does an explosion in a small radius. The radius gets bigger at 50 and at 100%. If I'm not mistaken. But regardless, in the radius, when you jump, it explodes. But as it continues to climb from 25% to 50 to 75 to 100%, you start getting so fast. I actually will bring it up to 100 and never jump. Unless it's critical that I need to kill everything around me. But if you're trying to run and you're trying to get around the map, this item will just completely negate the need for any other speed items. Now, the second you jump, you lose all that speed, and you are gonna realize how slow you actually are. That is the only problem about it. Maybe if you're in a boss fight and you have to get out the way and it requires you to jump, boom. But it doesn't take too long to restack, and honestly, it does a lot of damage around you if it's at 100%. And you're just so damn fast. I'm really struggling. I don't know if this is a S tier or an A tier, but honestly, shit. For now, S tier. I don't know if y'all have ran around as fast as you can. It is absolutely insane being that fast. I think movement is a high priority on everybody's list. It's I want to do damage by just explosions and other things. I want to be fast, and I want to have a decent amount of health. Probably in that order, too, honestly. The next one is the Faulty Conductor. Now, this is the one that I was getting confused with for the Collector's Compulsion. This item is so good, especially now with all of the new electricity items and all of the previous things like the ukulele and stuff. Basically, every 15 seconds, the user releases a wave of electricity that energizes nearby allies for 7 seconds. It's just, you're kind of quick. You're kind of just moving fast. 30% attack speed and movement speed. And you always land critical strikes with electrical items and items and attacks. The Luminous Shot, ukuleles, the Faraday Spur. When you use even a new item, which we'll get to in a moment, the Kinetic Dampener. Anything that does electricity will just land critical strikes. And you just unlock, you become Thor. You really do become Thor. I love this item so much. I have a Tricorn in the later stages and I'm doing an Alloyed Collective run, I definitely like to use the Tricorn on the Alloy Hunter to get this item S tier. It is so good. Now, if you don't have any electricity items, then it's maybe B tier because just the movement speed and attack speed is nice. Maybe even A tier just because it is very often that you have it, but god damn, it's so good. Pairing and honestly, any run that you have, you're gonna have a decent amount of electricity. At least one item. There's enough items in the game that are gonna spread. So this next one is the functional coupler. Oh yeah, an additional equipment. This is the little. Oh no, this is not the pet. I don't actually quite remember this item. It's a boss item. It grants the user to hold one additional equipment. The user can cycle through held equipment by pressing interact and use equipment keys at the same time. That is not very useful. It's just like a fuel cell of having two different equipments. You can kind of maybe match two unique things together that play really well. Or maybe you just go with two missile launchers or something. I don't think it's that great. I'm honestly going to put it in C tier. For how rare it is as well, It's a gold, and then it's like, oh wow, another equipment. And like, if you're playing on Artifact of Command, sure. If not, you almost never really like your equipment. Like, very rare that you're like, oh yeah, I just got like, I don't know, tricorn. It's like the only one you care about. So, this new one, the Hiker's Boots. Oh, it's so good. I'm gonna read this one for y'all. This one's honestly, I'm surprised it's a white item. And then on top of that, like, you might just get it a lot. And honestly, every time I look at it for a glance, I think it's one of those old telephones. I don't know. It's really funny to look at. It's some hiker boots. But essentially, when the player is above an enemy that they're hitting by just like 1 pixel, you get... it increases the player's critical strike chance and damage by 1%, up to a maximum of 10 times. So the effect lasts 10 seconds. So essentially, if you're above an enemy and you're hitting them, it's just giving you critical chance and critical strike, and it's just like kind of just completely stacking. Yeah, see, look at this. Amount up to 220% damage just by being above enemies. Now, this item, like, definitely if you're engineer, it's not like you're never really above people. Like, maybe if you're at the top of a mountain. This item is so much better for mobile, quick characters that are above characters a lot. A lot of melee characters probably don't get the most out of this item. You can maybe like jump onto them and hit them, but then you only get the first stack. So I think it's really, really good in unique cases. I'm trying to decide if it's an A or B tier. I don't agree that it's an S tier. For maybe some characters it could be, but it's, you know, you do need to like hit them a lot, I believe, while above them, regardless of okay, no, actually you just need to hit them once above them, and then you, regardless of elevation, you can just continue to apply stack, which is pretty good actually. So we'll throw it in the A tier, but I don't think it's an S tier because Faraday Spur got you moving quick, and this one just makes all electricity. Like, I don't think it's on the same level. Now we have the Kinetic Dampener. All right. This gives you shield, and when you knock out a shield, it explodes. It's kind of nice. It's not like the most insane thing, but let's be honest, any more shield is good, and definitely anything that explodes is good. Like, it's kind of like, there's that gold Genesis loop, I think, that'll just explode when you're at low HP. This is kind of at the same level in some way. I'm going to put it in B tier, because, like, I mean, it's not quite the best thing, but I would be happy to see it, right? Like, oh, that's not a bad item, especially as a squishy character, or just a character in general. When you take damage, you're not really trying to take damage, but it's nice to do damage back, right? Like, immediately when they hit you. Oh my goodness, y'all. Network suffering. If you have had the pure joy, the pure happiness when I first got exposed, if y'all could have understood the first neurons that fired in my brain when this thing landed in my inventory and it started doing its work. This item is so good. When the user damages the first 4 enemies, it infects them with a computer virus. Okay? Which is cool. You're a biological being, but we're going to infect you with a computer virus. Anyways. 45% of the damage done to infected enemies are added to a global damage pool. And every 3 seconds, all infected enemies take 100% of damage in the global damage pool. That is insane. I mean, this with like, no, just this by itself could carry you. Just by stacking damage and then just boom, all of them. Stacking damage, hitting a couple people, boom, all of them. It's so good. S tier. I don't have to defend my case any more than that. You read that description, you watch, it's nice animations happen on your screen, and you're just like, damn, this is a good item. This next one is the one I thought I was looking at earlier, Orphaned Core. This basically spawns a little probe around you, or I guess an orphan. That's not really. Oh, no. Best Buddy, kind of. So it launches itself at enemies for 400% damage per stack. This attack deals more damage the faster it moves. I don't really know what makes it faster. Okay, inherits your movement speed items and deals more. Oh. Oh, actually, with the Faraday Spur, that might be crazy. You can pet it to cleanse negative effects, which is cool, but like that thing's ramming people. Like you're not really gonna pet it that often, especially when you're burning and on fire. Like the last thing you're gonna do is like, where's my orphan core? Like maybe you get out of the situation and it comes flying to you, but for the most part, that's not gonna happen. So actually, the 400% when it rams something's not bad, but if it does more damage the faster it moves based off your movement speed items. Now, it depends here. If it's your movement speed items, like if you have a whole bunch of goat hooves and this moves faster and it's nice, cool. If it's the Faraday Spur and I get all my stacks and that also equals with it, I think that changes it from either a B to a C tier. It's a red as well, which kind of sucks. Like they give you Box of Dynamite as a green tier, but then this one's like a red tier. I guess they just... The developers have their reasons for that. I kind of want to put it in B tier because it's not as bad as these other two. The Eclipse Light, I think, is like just a good white overall. This other one, I keep forgetting the name. My brain doesn't even want to store it in memory. It's not even good. The Functional Computer. Yeah. I think it is better than both these two. Not quite as good as this. And then the Hiker's Boots, I want to keep it in A, but it's not like the most amazing item, but can be very much like min-maxed in a way. Just like jumping on top of people and then just hitting them as fast as you can. So we'll keep it there. Okay, these new things are really cool, actually. If you fight the new boss... Sentry Cores, boom, C tier. This is because they give 15% movement speed overall. That's just nice. If you really want to farm that area and become really fast, maybe you get like 7 of these, and this guy becomes boop. You get 20 of them, boop. But for now, they have a purpose beyond just advancing in the map. So that's kind of nice. 15% movement speed, not bad. The next one, though, the Prison Matrix, is really sick because it's 50% armor. I mean, you can only get 2 of them, and it is at the very end of your Alloyed Collective, run. Well, technically how you go about it, it's not necessarily the end, but it isn't until you beat like one of the main bosses that you can have. These Prison Matrixes. And a 50% armor is pretty great. I think I'm going to put... Let's see. I think this is the proper tier here. 50% armor is dope. Overall, no, ifs. Then there's the Eclipse Light, which is, I just think is great in a lot of conditional ways. Like, honestly, you're just always using your abilities. Having 10% shield just because is great. I don't care what anyone says. That's not bad. 15% movement speed is not the craziest boost. And it's also later, so it's like around here, right? Moving on, we have this is the substandard duplicator, which is interesting. I don't know how I feel overall about temporary items yet. As Drifter, temporary items are awesome. You will always have 10 to 15 temporary items, and you know what? You'll have 30 of them if you have this thing. But for most part of the game, you don't really have too many temporary items. Or in general, if you pick up an item, it'll give you a temporary one on top of that, and you have like a minute, 2 minutes, or whatever before it goes away. Also, if you didn't know, let's say you have 5 temporary items, it goes, and once the 2-minute timer is up, you have 4, and the 2-minute timers you have 3, and then 2, 1. So it's not like they all disappear at once. So it is like a residual decrease. Um, and for that, I don't think it's the worst item in the game, but it's not like really that great. And I honestly don't think it's a red, especially since the temporary items, uh, getting 5 at once, if it's Artifact of Command, is like cool. Maybe you could like really, really like get an insane build and then just get so many of them and just like double everything. That could be pretty cool. But overall, if you're just playing regular and you're not like choosing all your items, it's not the most insane thing. I don't think it's D tier. I don't think it's like you can't shit on the item. It's definitely like decent for now. But it really depends on getting items. So if you have a junk drone, sure. Instead of 5, you get 10 items. And it's kind of nice just to have 2 stacks on anything, I guess. But if you're Drifter, then it's like probably B tier. But yeah, I don't think it's quite as bad as the items on the bottom. So we're going to move on from that. So the next one is the Deus Ex, which I have not used before, but I do know that I have a cousin that was saying it wasn't as bad as he thought it was originally. Enter a countering stance that lets you parry any and all damage. Okay, this item I believe is really useful for like vagrants when they're about to like pop off on a charge. You don't ever really want to sit still though, Reduces your equipment cooldown by 75%, grants blessing. That's cool, but like whoever actually wants to stop moving, or stance, I guess it doesn't necessarily mean that you're stopping moving, but a successful parry nullifies incoming damage. It doesn't redirect it. It's not really that great. Bless your next attack and grants blessing, causing your next attack to always activate your on-hit effects. That's kind of cool, but it's just, Risk of Rain, there's so much happening. Like, it's not Sekiro, all right? Like, I can't just parry the 1 million particles on my screen all the time. Like, what if I accidentally parried a wisp shot instead of the Vagrant's explosion? Like, that's just, I think it's like, not, I think that even getting stacks on opening items is better than that, honestly. In like super, super superficial scenarios, is it any good? Maybe. Now, I guess let's go with actually before we get on to the new craftable recipes. Let's talk about the new blue, the new lunar item, the new tronium weight. I have another cousin that was playing around with this. It was kind of funny. I don't remember, but I think when like an enemy that had the weight. So essentially, when you attack someone, it transfers the weight over there. It reduces so you have bad stats because you have a weight on you. When you hit someone, it transfers the weight over them, and then they are reduced. It reduces their damage, attack speed, movement speed, and armor. Pretty cool, especially for a boss, I guess. And you're always attacking people, so it's not like you have this net negative all the time. In fact, most of the time you don't. But I'm pretty sure that he knocked an enemy off the map, and so went the neutronium weight. But I'm not sure how it disappeared. It could have been a bug. That is, like, not terrible. Like, honestly, a lot of lunar items have, like, way worse debuffs. Like, this is, like, constantly transferring it over to other people. So I don't think it's actually that horrible. But the second it comes back to you, like, often enough, maybe, right, when you're killing things, this could just really bad timing get you killed quick. So I kind of want to put it here. This makes me kind of want to rethink, though, this item. I think it's a little... No, honestly, this is more ideal, I think, in this space. So yeah, it's not horrible. And like, if you're attacking things enough, like, you probably won't have the weight. Just hopefully it doesn't like come to you and like you all slow in a second. You take 2 hits, but I don't think that ever really happens enough in this game that it's like gonna completely It could ruin your run. It could not. It's great for bosses, it seems like, that are moving quick and just getting around. And honestly, bosses are the hardest part in the game. If you're not like OP as fuck, like a boss is going to be a problem for you. So, okay, now we get to move on to these new craftables, which are really cool. Great mechanic in the game. I love it so much. I've not actually gotten so deep into the recipes they are. I think it's great to be able to craft other things, though. Awesome. But these things I haven't played around with. Seared steak, though, I mean, like, increases your maximum health by 50 if you happen to have a steak, and then an additional 5% of your max health per stack. That's, honestly, better than all of this. Move over. That's not horrible. Turning one bison steak, I'm pretty sure, just turning one of them, and like, maybe just an item scrap. Like, that's better than we got here, you know? Like, that's like almost a Titanic mural, right? Like, it's really... I don't think it's quite that good, but really not that bad of an added item. Quick Fix is bonus health and regen gains. So increases bonus health and regeneration gains by 50%. Does not affect bonuses. That's also great, honestly. Like, anybody else getting the Google? It's like they have some memory leak on all of their tabs now. So bad. So increases the bonus max health and regeneration gains by 50%. Does not affect bonuses from leveling up. Oh, that's interesting. As such, this item does nothing unless you have items or skills that grant max health or health regeneration. Interesting. So it does require that you have other items that help you along the way. I think that's the wrong one. It's not the greatest. But usually you'll have, by the time you get here, a couple of decent items. But it's only going to slightly increase them. So it's not the best. Again, it's a quick fix. It's not like crazy. The Hearty Stew, I believe, is pretty good. Increases users' regeneration by 2.5%. At full health, your regeneration is added to your base damage. Right, like... it costs a Lepton Daisy. You're going to want to get rid of a Lepton Daisy anyways. Like, it's not horrible. I don't think it's as good as the Quick Fix, though. Or, I'm sorry, it's better than the Quick Fix, but honestly, the 2.5% stats overall might actually be better than the bison steak. A little rough to say here. What is ultimately better, but I think Quick Fix at least deserves last, right? Unless, again, like, if you have Artifact of Command, like, you can completely build into any type of build and really make an item so much better than the others, so it's, like, really hard to say. All right, like, this item could be up here if you're Drifter with Artifact of Command. Imagine having 120 items, you know, like, 30 of them are temporary. Like, it's just hard to really, really say for sure. But, moving on. We have the Ultimate Meal. This one I actually haven't seen yet. But if the user is at full health, all random effects are rolled +2 extra times for better outcome. That's actually huge. What? Wait, what? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you serious? That, I mean, look, I could be stretching, but like, oh, I realize this is not necessarily in the order. That's insane. What? Okay. Oh, it cost a clover. Hmm. At full health. I'm not so sure how I feel about that. Am I mistaking this? Hold on. We gotta find this right now. Are you kidding? Like, what? Ultimate meal. Oh. Oh, wow. Okay, so the clover, all random effects are rolled +1 per stack times for a favorable outcome. I mean, I'm gonna keep it an A tier, honestly, because it's two chances. Like it's basically doubling your clover if you're at full health, and like you could throw in like, you know, Juveration Rack. It does accept a wide range of other reds to potentially get that. So I think that's pretty good. Damn, what? Okay, all right, moving on. That's actually kind of insane. It costs a clover, so you'll never have it. But, you know, a clover and other things, right? Like, damn. That's wild, I'm not going to lie. Last one that we have here are the sauteed worms. And these are actually pretty insane. On hit, 10% chance to summon a spectral worm that seeks out and damages and ignites enemies for 500%. Total damage per second for 10 seconds. That's kind of wild, considering if you have an addition tank or other fire hits, like every 10 hits, you're just going to have spectral worms just fuck on whatever they're around. Like that is honestly a good B tier item. Like I honestly think that's sitting above our C and D tier. Not quite as good as our A and S tiers, but you know, like let's see what it costs actually. The sauteed worms is molten perforator and a charged perforator. So these items are hard to even get. Okay? But if you have them, that's really not that bad, you know. That's pretty wild, to be honest. 500% damage, just it's kind of like Little Disciple. Just you're not having to run, you're just fucking on them, you know. So thanks for watching. This is my tier list. I just had to do one. I keep seeing the most ridiculous tier lists and people just like shitting on items for like no reason. Like the Clips Light, I almost want to put in B tier, at the low end of B tier sometimes, just because like it's been so clutch. You're spamming moves, you have constant shield, right? Like even with the Topaz Brooch, like both of those will keep you at 30 to 50% shield all the time, right? You don't have to kill things. And so I think this is a proper tier list here of items that is most non-confirmation bias, non-biased. I don't know why I said confirmation. That I could really get it to be. So thanks for watching. If you like this, definitely please subscribe. I have this channel. I kind of just post gaming videos and stuff in general. I want to make it more active as it gets more attention, but nobody knows me or my face, so I figured I'd do a Risk of Rain tier 2 or Risk of Rain 2 tier list because that's kind of fun, and I had to bring some justice to some of these items, and I think just make a proper list here. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more craziness.